The next one is about open network. So, what are your certainties with regards to open network being launched in Q1? Again, we go back to Mr. Kim Wong. So you obviously respond to it, and then the rest will follow.
Okay, I think March 14 this year is the most likely date to open. Now, everybody is complaining about the time it have taken for the project to go so long. Okay, I actually did a little bit of research on how other people, other projects are doing. How long did it take them to launch? Here they are. For Bitcoin, it takes less than 1 year to launch. For ETH, 2 years. For BNB chain, 1 year. Solana, a very popular chain, took 2 year and 4 months. So when you compare the time that Pi takes versus all these other famous top 10 blockchain, then people feel that, yeah, it really takes a little bit long. But the thing is, we don't know the complexity of Pi. My imagination is really complex because it's building a system that offers the Pi coin, which will kind of become a cryptocurrency of the world, right? So everybody will be using it to do purchases, transactions. Maybe some government will use it as research and reserve and all that. So the complexity must a lot more than these other projects. The other complexity is they want to meet government regulations. That's the hard part. That's why KYC is the hard part. That's why they take it to themselves to build the KYC process, because they have the need. They realize that if you want to be popularize yourself to the world, you need to be meeting government regulations. If not, you are not going to be popular. You are not going to become a generally used cryptocurrency. But the objective of all these other top-notch blockchain, their objective is not that. They are just building a framework of a system so people can build an app around them. Okay, so they don't require KYC. So KYC is a big deal. Even though people have been keep complaining it, but it must be done. It needs to be done to be for Pi to be useful. So I think after this, so the question was when is it going to be open mainnet, right? I mentioned that is March 14. Why I feel that is because it really have been taking too long. So the core team knows it. And March 14, 3/14 is really important day. It's Pi Day. They launched 2019 March 14. So they have to launch on these days, like Pi Day, Pi 2 Day. Pi 2 Day, although Nicholas have mentioned that, okay, we are going to launch before the next Pi 2 Day, right? Last year, he said. But now they kind of tilted towards, first of all, it's 2024, the end of 2024. And then now they are pretty much point to Q1. So many factors are pointing to March 14 as the day. I mean, if they, I don't think core team actually hear us, heard about what we talk about, right? So they are being pressured, but at the same time, they are very conservative. They are steady. They are patient. You know, many of us are really impatient in voicing their complaints. But you don't think core team is you know, has the urge to open mainnet? I mean, it's to their benefit. They benefit the most if mainnet is open. Okay, so I don't think core team want to purposely delay the process. If they delay, there must be a reason that we don't know. Maybe because of the complexity, maybe some problem needs to be fixed. Maybe they don't want, you know, after mainnet, there's a lot of problems. I was an engineer. When I wrote my program, I'm very fast in writing my program, but it's not, but often it's not very good as far as the actual operation is concerned. So I wrote my program fast, but then what ended up is I took a long time to debug my program. So that's my problem. But I don't think, hopefully, core team doesn't have that problem. But what they are thinking in their mind is, hey, we need to be steady and cautious. So make sure you know, the network works when we go open network. So that's what I think.
Excellent submission from Mr. Kim Wong, or Kim as he wants to be called. Listen, I'll just add a little bit because I'm the host, so I can't really talk too much because I've got guests. But the only thing I'm going to say is the one thing that Kim said, which obviously resonated with me, is the fact that the Pi Core team, they benefit the most if Open Network was or is launched earlier or earliest. They benefit the most, not us. We benefit if it's launched a bit later because we get to mine, we get to get our downlines to be KYC'd and migrated, and therefore the complaints about the extension of the deadline for the grace period to me was moot, because why would you complain about something that doesn't actually affect the launching date or period of the open network? That's where my issue was when people weren't also reactive. However, I did understand where they're coming from, because they weren't talking about that. They were talking about the fact that, the postponements are too much. What does that mean? Blah, blah, blah. But you see, when you're dealing with, I call this an undertaking. I don't even call it a project. I call it an undertaking. When you're dealing with an undertaking that has tens of millions of people involved, and you promise them that nobody's going to get left behind, and of course you end that grace period on the 31st, knowing that a lot of people are going to be left behind, then you would have not actually gone on your word. Do you get what I'm saying? So they're looking at the data and they're looking at it like, so many people are going to lose out. Should we do that? No. So they extended it. And I think for 28 days extension, I think it's okay. For further 28 days extension, I think it's okay. Let me now go to Woody and what Woody thinks.
Yeah, I've been urging to jump right in regarding, as you mentioned, this thing about people complaining. You know, I was one of the loudest people to, first raise an issue regarding this thing of extensions, right? I see some people say, why are you complaining? It doesn't affect the open network dates, so there should be no complaint. We're not complaining that the extension affects open minutes. We're not complaining because we thought the deadline, that once the deadline was over, then we will be able to cash out our pack. That's not why we're complaining. We're complaining to hold Pi Core team accountable to the words that they give to us. Let's not forget that Pi Core team has always been in their own cocoon. They don't communicate directly as much or interact directly with the community, different communities. They haven't actually reached out to communities, right? So whatever they give to us, especially people who are trying to drive community in leadership positions and all that. Whatever the core team communicates to us, that's what we can use, right? And when we use these things to either promote the network, to stir the community, to create hype for the network and stuff like that, and each time over they keep extending the dates, it honestly makes our work less effective. In fact, to be honest, personally, I don't even know how I'm going to be comfortable with creating hype around the end of the grace period on February 28th, because I feel like, why do that if there's a chance that date can be extended? So it's kind of like a morale killer to lots of pioneers who are actually doing a lot of work to steer the community, to implement the effect of urgency that makes them extend these things. And the biggest killer of it all is how the PyCore team communicates these things. The communication is not really stellar, right? And we don't have any problem with extension, right? But at least when they are going about these things, it would be quite wholesome if they could observe that so many frontliners in the community are using the information that they pass to drive the community, because they are not even joining hands with the community leaders to drive the community. They just give the update, once in a week and all that. And we understand why they are very, very secretive with information, and we support it. But these things, this intentional communication of what they know is not going to happen kind of misleads our drive, and it has not set a good precedent for even the future hypes and buzzing activities that community leaders should be doing for the network, right? So we like the extension. In fact, there are a few referrals of mine that have been saved by this recent extension, right? But still doesn't undermine the fact that the core team should communicate with us in a much more dignified way. And that's what I have to say about that. But as regards the certainty of open network, in Q1, judging from the core team's communication, even though I have been very vocal regarding so many extensions that they have done, maybe like 5 times they have extended, I still strongly feel that everyone should believe them when they say they are going to launch the open mainnet in Q1, and they're not going to extend it. In fact, I think that it could either be March 1st or March 14th. March 14th came over here as already given a nice context as to why March 14 would be a good date for open network. Yeah, but if I should speculate around March 1st, I would say because they may want to do they may want to release a new mining mechanism that will be the basis for the supply cap, yearly supply cap that they would be using for the open mainnet. And if you remember in 2022, the new mining mechanism came on March 1st before Pi Day. And why? Because they were going to be calculating these things on a monthly basis. So if there's going to be a new mining mechanism, which is shifting from the monthly adjustments, it could become weekly adjustment or daily adjustment, as they have said. It may still be suitable that there is a March 1st release of open mainnet, but it's just speculation, right? It's just speculation. It's just possibilities that are out there. But at the end of the day, I think March 14 Pi Day is a much more stronger possibility.
Thank you so much, Woody, for that. And like I said, we love these opinions. We love these takes. Extremely important. And I appreciate Woody's take on this one. And trust me, it's understandable as well, because, credibility is something that you don't want to be losing, as a a founder of a huge project like that. Oh, Woody wants to say
I'll,
something. Yeah.
I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you one thing. Yeah. So ever since this extension, I have not made any broadcast to my referral team anymore because I have a very large referral team, right? Over 700 people I've invited. So I have been broadcasting every time about the deadline is coming. Oh, everybody do your KYC. Oh, but each time it's extended, and it seems like a joke. So I've decided I am not going to send any broadcast to anybody until the grace period is over, so that it doesn't seem like a joke from my end, right? So that's
Woody,
the effect.
it's understandable, but at the end of the day, listen, you're not the one postponing; they're the ones postponing. So you still need to do your due diligence by reminding them. What if you don't remind them, and this time around there's no postponement? You know, you would actually regret that. So you just have to keep doing it. It's not your fault. They can't blame you for that. It's not your fault. You're going according to what the PyCore team are telling us, and that's it, really.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
obviously, I'll give my take after Benjamin's submission. So Benjamin, it's your turn.
Okay, so first of all, Woody's submission is valid from a hype perspective. From a hype perspective, you know, Woody's our showman, and as our showman, in Africa, more could know the fold in hand. In other words, don't make him look stupid, sort of. So that's the implication of that. But I resonate with Kim's perspective. First and foremost is because I was privileged to listen to an interview with the Coinbase team. Now, the Coinbase team have two products: the Coinbase exchange and the Base blockchain, which is a layer 2 on top of Ethereum. Now, the legal representative of the blockchain vis-a-vis the exchange made significant revelations, because Base alongside Ripple were some of the scapegoats of the Security and Exchange Commission for the last administrative regime of the United States of America. This one, this one, that. So this is the summary of what the lawyer said. He said that they have spent more money on trying to get legal definition, legal explanation on what is security, what is commodity, what is this, what is that. After paying millions to this legal representative and getting a feedback from this judge, they tilt their products to that direction only to get fined by SEC. And it's pretty much like a caricature, because they were like, I thought we paid this legal counsel so that we can get it in clear terms. What does this and this and this mean? And he was like, had it been the terms were defined, there was a clear roadmap, regulatory wise, compliance wise, that so much of that money would have gone into building on the Base blockchain, hackathons, and other things. Now, this resonates with Kim's statement around making open mainnet compliance compatible. And it has to do with timing, it has to do with external information and stuffs like that. And because of that, I favor the fact that we had not gone to open mainnet, most especially not when Gary Gensler was the SEC chair, to be very, very honest. Because there's so much untappable assets that is built on this blockchain that may be exploited just for political reasons. Having said that, as I said in my previous statement, owing to the fact that I know a cardinal point of the blockchain is built around access, I wasn't comfortable with the fact that a significant population will get their tokens burnt. I mean, that is pretty much 3 times those who are mainnet eligible. Those who are not are pretty much times 3 of those who are. The issue of communication is pretty much dicey. All of us are taking it with a pinch of salt. I just broke it into 2 demographics. The one that they have said with a high sense of certainty was open mainnet. Any other thing had this probability, may. Now, looking at it from, let's assume I'm looking at things from the sideline, sitting on the fence. Grace period began from July 1. The extension narrative began in, I think, September, either August or September. And then we now have a series of extension and extension and extension. But as of when the extension began, we had a number that we were, I think, was it 7 million thereabout? I'm not sure. 7 million thereabout. I'm not sure. Of migrated account and stuffs like that. Now, that was pretty much like at the middle. Something like that. And for all that we have been doing up to the point of grace period, you can see that from August to now, we have literally done about half of what we have been doing, like from 2022 to now. Somehow, is it a function of human anthropology? I don't know. That when there is this scarcity, this time up kind of narrative, people juggle up, people do stuff. It would have been the same thing, just say, okay, grace period as of August, grace period have been extended from August 2024 to 28th of February 2025. Will we have taken it at monthly pace of seriousness? Now, I'm just someone sitting on the fence and looking at how things have translated. Now, not putting to the waters those who have invested reputation, words, digital print with all sense of certainty, like December 31st, 1st January, look as if is a cool time for things to be wrapped up. Then it was extended for 1 more month. Okay, let's assume that this extension, one last time, guys, one last time, that kind of a thing. And now it has been extended. And I understand that narrative. I understand it. But again, I see that most especially from the Christmas period and also the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th January period, all hashtags, all submission across all social media platforms that I was in was people, trying to meet up that last moment thing. Is it a human anthropological thing, courtesy of Chen, and how she know how human beings think? I don't know. But I kind of look and see that this routine, last moment stuff gets people. I have literally had the privilege to sit with people that I had no idea they were in the Pi network. That was the time they were figuring out what was the official, the main mobile number associated with their account. That was the time they had to go and double up on their ID. That was the time they had to do stuff like that. I kind of resonate around the thought that we wouldn't have had that dynamism had there not been this routine, trying to meet up. Having said that, for me and my community, we look at open mainnet from the open mainnet condition standpoint. And I told them, until we meet these conditions, it is not a green go from me. And it looks as if 2 of the conditions is a green go. The 3rd condition is pretty much the ecosystem utilities condition. And that's pretty much, I think, probably we may get it. So unlike Kim and Woody that are pretty much resonating around either the March 1st or the March 14th, I actually don't have a date, surprisingly for some folks. because I can speak validly on KYC, I can speak validly on migration, but I do not have the numbers that we are 100 utilities. And I hold strong from that technical point of view that we need these three conditions to be met, because it will bring this shock absorption advantage. I don't want us to go to open mainnet when less than these conditions have been met. It pretty much opens the native token to a lot of brutal narrative, of course, on the short term. And a lot of people pretty much say, Benjamin, it doesn't matter. It will only happen in the short term. Yes, but we have made a lot to come this far. And if we cannot do it well, I mean, what's the benefit? We should have gone to open mainnet as far back as 2022, if you ask me. Because if it's the short-term implication as insignificant, that short-term implication would have still been insignificant 3 years ago or 2 years ago. Yes, we have not met the expected number of KYC. We go to open mainnet, people will still come, and the KYC will scale up. That's the truth. We have not gotten the same number of migration, and we went to open mainnet. Yes, we will have some temporary lapse, but people will come in and will still scale up. But I feel these three conditions have this kind of like shock absorption that pretty much will, in no time, put us in the right, trajectory, and we will be soaring in numbers, because access will now be the primary trigger to the hash. The hash will now be the primary trigger to the scarcity narrative. And let's say, for instance, less than 20 million. And in less than 17 days, we are talking about double of that amount KYC'd. And before you understand, capacity of users, we're no longer talking about 70 million. We crossed the 100 million threshold. Now, 100 million threshold will activate the first scarcity narrative, that the 100 million pi allocated on the narrative of 1 pi per each account should be exhausted. It means that anything after 100 million, if I've understood the white paper, means that everybody has to hustle for his first pi. Now, hustling for the first pi, and let's say double of that population are hustling for their first pi, it means that we may have a high number of participants that didn't have the privilege of having 1 pi as at sign up, that will impact the access algorithm, which will impact the hash, and then impact the scarcity model. How many days will it take them? I don't know. But I'm so interested in that narrative that because there are more people concurrently mining, affecting the hash, increasing the number of days from the current 8 days plus that it will take somebody to mint 1 pi to probably 100 days, probably 90 days, probably 120 days, subject to the number. And if we take somebody 3 good months just to mint 1 pi, that is the way I'm understanding how significant access is. Yes, having said that, it doesn't put to the waters the fact that a lot of people still view the fact that you have said this. It would have been better you just say we'll be doing everything in 2025, so that we do not go through this spike in emotion and being downcasted, then spike again in emotion and being downcasted. And honestly, I resonate with that point of view. But also, I also see that probably from a human anthropological standpoint, it was necessary so that our barrels and our bazookas should be, fine-tuned probably every 30 days. Probably at the end of the day, when we get data, we may realize that whatever they are doing had significance in numbers. And having significant numbers is also good for the community. This is just what I think. But as of a date, I haven't really chosen because I'm waiting for the third condition. Thank you.
Yes, I've listened to all three of you. Obviously, I do have my take. And if you look at the ticker underneath the screen, you can see I have actually approximated it to 34 days, which is Pi Day. So 34 days is Pi Day. And I started counting down over 100 days ago. So that was way before everything. I've always had a hunch that it was going to be on Pi Day. So that's what I will never budge. Pi Day, that's my day. And I expect that.